This is what, $4 million buys you in Sydney. Let's check it out.
60% of all my properties get some type of influence at walkthroughs now.
Already legends, this house located in Strathfield, a suburb 12 k's west of the CBD.
If I can't get eyeballs on the property, then I haven't done my job. My first house was about 5 years into me being an agent.
Welcome to 21 Belgrave Street, Burwood.
I pretty much camped out of this gentleman's home. He knew I was just selling apartments, but he gave me a chance.
What's been your biggest sale in your area?
Last year, I did one at 16.6 million for a finished home in Strathfield. That was the new suburb record.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Thought Leaders here from Elite Agent. Talking about elite agents and thought leaders, well, we've got an exciting guest today. His name is Norman So. He works at Belle Property at Strathfield. He's a principal and agent and was recently awarded the #1 auction agent in the Belle network, and recently also #6 in New South Wales as an agent. Norman, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Claudio. What an introduction. I got to correct you there. I think I'm #7, not #6 on the
number
REB.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 7. Okay. Well, Norman, thanks for joining us. So we see a lot of, people move their careers from, like, for example, for yourself, being a mortgage broker with Westpac and then moving into real estate. What was that transition like in the beginning for you?
So instead of selling the mortgage, I transitioned to selling the house or the apartment. The good thing, the easy thing was it's the same contract of sale. So after 5 years at Westpac, I obviously knew how to read a contract of sale quite easily. So, but selling an apartment or house is very, very different to working on selling mortgages for Westpac. Now I've got a lot more balls to juggle because I'm dealing with vendors and also dealing with the purchasers. As opposed to Westpac, it was just one directional. I only had to focus on selling mortgages for the bank.
What was the sort of catalyst there to sort of say, like, I really want to get into real estate for your end?
I have a love for real estate. So as soon as I'm in front of someone and we start talking about real estate, I think the potential vendors or purchasers that I deal with, they can see my love for the industry. In terms of why I left the bank, it's because I was on targets with Westpac, and those targets I was meeting, I was exceeding them, but it just got a little bit too much for me. The younger Norman So, I just wanted something a little bit different, and now obviously I own Belle Property Strathfield. All the hard work is obviously starting to pay off now.
At what point did you really sort of dial in on a niche? Because we hear a lot of agents, become and focus on a suburb. Some are great apartment specialists. You're, pretty much like the #1 agent in Strathfield there. And in doing so, at what point did you say to yourself, like, I'm going to really focus on this market? Did that come earlier on for you, or did that sort of come in the later years for you?
The first 4 years or so, it was just purely apartments. I had my lucky break in Homebush and then slowly moved my way from Homebush to Strathfield. And I dominated that apartment market. At one stage, I was selling 60% of all the apartments in Strathfield. My first house was about 5 years into me being an agent. I pretty much camped out of this gentleman's home to make sure I had enough airtime with him. He knew I was just selling apartments, but he gave me a chance, and obviously that was 5 years ago, and then now we're here. I actually still sell a lot of apartments, and I have the opportunity to sell apartments and the high-end luxury homes in Strathfield. I'm probably one of the few that get the advantage of selling both because of my history of selling apartments. I still get a lot of call-ins for the apartments, but lucky for me now, I get a lot of call-ins for the high-end luxury homes in Strathfield as well. So I'm pretty happy with that I get to dabble in both markets.
What's been your biggest sale in the housing market? What's been the biggest price you've sold in your area?
This year, we've already done 2 sales for land lots above 10 million. They're all big land lots. They were over 1,500 square meters, those 2 sales. Last year, I did one at 16.6 million for a finished home in Strathfield. At that time, that was the new suburb record for Strathfield. And obviously, I had a lot of people ask me, why would someone pay that amount in Strathfield? But it's sold, it's settled now. The buyer, after paying 16.6, spent another $2 million in renovations. So after stamp duty and his 2 million renos, he's nearly at 20 million. Yeah, I think that just sent the right message to that Strathfield market, because since then there's been other sales up there in the 16 mil bracket.
So Norman, being the number one auction agent within the Belle Property network, how many auctions would you sign up or do a year? How many auctions would you roughly do approximately? You don't have to give me the right number, but just approximately.
On average, around 200 auctions.
200 auctions.
Per year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you manage, how do you manage a great auction campaign that, you're managing buyers, you're managing vendors? There's going to be a lot of agents that are in the marketplace listening to this podcast right now going, okay, I really want to dial in on the auction and my auction process. But what are some of the key things that you manage in that auction process with buyers and vendors?
So I touch base with my vendors once every 2 days. Obviously, if I'm managing around 200 auctions, I would need to sell 3 or 4 per week on average to get to the 200. To make 200 sales a year, you need the right team behind you. That's paramount. So I've got the 2 Aarons right now that they're doing the buy callbacks as we speak. They're helping me chase the listings. So they're helping me juggle all the balls that I need to juggle. So the team is important. And I've spent a lot of time training my 2 Aarons to get to a certain level. But Claudio, my EBU is very different. I've got 2 Aarons in my direct EBU. What I do a lot of the times is you see me co-list with other EBUs within my business, and that's how we work in a team. And between me and the other EBUs, Michael Ma has his own team. We work together to achieve the 200 sales per annum, because obviously with free agents, I've got my capacity, but what happens a lot is there's a lot of crossover between me and Michael's team, and we collaborate together probably around 30-40% of the time to make sure these deals go through.
So Michael is also is he like a co-agent?
Michael's my business partner. Under Michael, he's got another 4 or 5 staff members under him.
Right. Okay. And then you and Michael collaborate between you and your teams. And has everyone got very clear swim lanes about, what they're focused on, like the 2 Aarons, what their swim lanes look like, and good clear structures around that?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. We've got a listing in Burwood right now. We both know this developer. We've known him for over a decade now. So when he was thinking of selling, he didn't call any other agent. It was just me and Michael. So me and Michael are the lead agents for that particular property, and all the servicing is run by my 2 Aarons. And we're getting really good traction on that one, and the vendor demanded it's just me and Michael at every single open home. So it's 2 EBUs working together for that one sale.
Does that help you then as well, Norman? Like when you need time out and you've got someone else, like say Michael, who's a business partner but also runs his own EBU, that you can take that time out, you both work together along each other, and he can step in when he needs to step in, and then you can step out when you need that time out. Is that something that you've deployed as as 2 business principles, but also being able to work that way?
I don't get any time out. The only time out I get is during that Christmas holiday, the 2-3 weeks. It's just it's just go. I mean,
did you not learn at Westpac when you burnt out?
It's different. I think the 2 Aarons work very efficiently. They make 200 phone calls a day each. They do a lot of the buyer work for me. They do a lot of the communication of feedback back to my vendors. So I think we've got a really well-oiled machine. Aaron got his paycheck last month, and he nearly fell off his chair because he did the 2. He helped me do the 2 $10 million plus sales. He actually sourced the buyer for me.
Oh, wow. When did it actually come for you where social media became an important part of your business for you, for the Norman So brand?
I think about 2 to 3 years ago when we started to get Jason and other influencers to post about my properties. They were posting about other things before that, before posting about real estate. So we started trialing it. Jason was getting a lot of good traction. But with a lot of the influencers, what was starting to happen was people, whether they were thinking of buying or not thinking of buying, they would show up to our open homes just to check out that property they saw on Facebook or Instagram. And what would happen about 5 or 6 times a year for me is those buyers that weren't even thinking of buying would actually end up to be the buyer of a particular property. One, I won't say which influencer, but they walked through the property.
Yeah.
It came on the Facebook feed of one of the potential purchasers, which led them to come to an open home. They weren't even thinking of purchasing, but one thing led to another, and they purchased a $4.9 million duplex. And then from that same feed, from that same influencer, a buyer's agent that was pushing their client to buy in Leica, but accidentally saw our feed, and that buyer's agent came through, recommended their client to come through and have a look, and we sold the second duplex of the same influencer off that same feed, which got about 140,000 views. So out of the 140,000, there were 2 buyers. And 2 buyers came off that one feed. It wasn't through real estate. It wasn't through domain. It wasn't through anything else, but just the one influencer feed.
Do you feel like having influencers, market the property or do a walk through the property has made a significant boost in terms of your name and your brand out in the marketplace by leveraging off the influencer? Do you think that there's a power behind that?
Probably around 60% of all my properties get some type of influencer walkthroughs now. So I spread it between about 3 or 4 influencers that I work with. Even some of the mortgage brokers that I use as well, and I push it through the mortgage broking network. So I think as an agent, you just got to find as many ways as possible to expose a property, because my promise is when I go and pitch for the business is to expose the property. If I can't get eyeballs on the property, then I haven't done my job.
Like, is that something that you that works quite well for you at a listing presentation as part of one of many of your degrees of separation in the marketplace?
I think that's my edge now, because people can see that I'm collaborating with all these different types of influencers. There's 2 sides of I push really hard on the Instagram side, but there's another side that I'm very active on, which is to make it work on the WeChat side is a completely different game altogether. So I'm still trialing a lot of different things in that space, but it's starting to work. I'm seeing a lot of traction through that WeChat space for us now.
One thing I know is you don't mind trying new things just to try it and see how it works and whatever else. Would it be fair to say that you take a lot of these things and you trial it, you test it, and then you sort of see what results you get from it?
I think I owe it to my clients that I'm always at the forefront of how they get as much traction on a particular marketing campaign as I can get. So even with my video company that I work with right now, we're always trialing different things. We're trying to improve on what's happening over in the US, what's happening over in overseas markets, because they do things completely different to how we do things in Sydney. I always want to just change it up a little bit to make my properties that I represent stand out more than the competitors.
Knowing what you know now, if you were to give someone advice today, because remember, you've gotten where you are today from 13 years doing things differently, trialing, testing, things worked, some things didn't. Knowing the knowledge that you have today, what advice would you give to someone who is in their first or second or third year in real estate, trying to build market share, trying to build momentum, trying to build a brand out there? What would we say, to say 3 things to focus on?
You need the knowledge, right? So I think you need someone there that has the 10 years plus experience to lean on at all times. And if you don't have that person, call the person that you want to work for, call them every day, nag them every day, so you can work alongside that person, even if it's free of charge for the first 6 months. Because I think that knowledge of how sales in real estate works, that's super, super important. Because if you don't have the experience, if you're following someone with 10 plus years of experience around, you're going to absorb all of that. So I think that's paramount. You also, like Claudio, you're my trainer. We touch base once a week.
Yeah.
And with that, sometimes I get in a pickle. and I call you. And even with all my training, all my experience, real estate's unforgiving. Every day there's a new barrier I need to cross. And sometimes I just need someone to lean on as well. So, I think everyone needs that person.
So the first thing you mentioned there, Norm, which I think is great. I think that's an important point. I just want to highlight to everyone listening here today. Like, find someone, even if you work for free. I remember, Norman, I went out and I met in one of the first ARICs, Bob Boland. He was running $20 million a year in real estate. This is going back in 1997. And I saw him talking. He's working 4 days a week and he had a super team because we didn't have teams back then. We were either an agent or property management. No one had associates or assistants. And I paid money to go to Michigan in the US to shadow him for a whole week. It cost me a packet. But what I learned from him in 1 week gave me, like you said, Norman, the knowledge of how to think like a top performer or a high performer. So I think what you're saying is absolutely crucial for everyone to listen out there. Like, even if you go and just shadow somebody or do it for free for the first 6 months, the money will come down the track, right? What would be the second piece of advice, Norman?
You need to set a goal of what you want to achieve. So right in front of my desk is the amount of GCI, amount of sales I need to make in a particular time frame. So this year, I want to surpass 4 mil GCI. So I've broken that down to the weekly, how much I need to achieve per week. So just setting the goals for myself and the team. And the last thing, Claudio, is having at least some type of set structure, because I love to freestyle, but luckily we've touched base once a week. So no, Norman, every day, 10 to 11, we need to do this. 5 to 6, we need to do that. So
Yes.
it's actually all it's in our diary. You know, we try our best to follow the structure that we've set. The amount of business that we transact with, we get pulled left, right, and center. But with you there helping us set that structure for our day, that's really helped us go through the amount of sales with much better efficiency.
As always, congratulations on all your success in the last 12 months. Number 1, auction agent. Number 2, principal. Number 7, in New South Wales. So, Norman, from me and the team here at Elite Agent, thanks so much again for your wonderful time, and and hopefully you'll hit your goals for this year.
Thanks, Claudio. It's been a pleasure.